to evade that crazy young lady. Over there, I had no choice but to pretend. Be a dead body. But that woman still brazenly in front of. Everyone's eyes kissed my lips. I completely trusted and believed that if I didn't wake up right away, this woman would genuinely for me alive right there on the ship. I panicked, sprang to my feet, and ran to the railing, threatening her that I would jump down. Don't you come over here, however. Liu Ruyan firmly believed that I wouldn't dare, and spoke unhurriedly. Either you die, or you become mine. When I opened my eyes, found myself at an auction, turned into a piece of merchandise waiting for someone to bid. The thought of escaping just flashed through my mind when the miserable state of someone trying to flee completely extinguished it. Could it be that I really had to fall into the hands of these demons who ate people without spitting out the bones? Jubu sozen den sozen 30,000. The bids kept getting higher and higher, shook uncontrollably. Countless scorching gazes swept wildly all over my body, leaving out not a single part. 30,000. Going once, going twice, sold. The loud crash. The large doors were violently kicked wide open. The guests turned around in panic, only to see a group of men dressed in black, with masked faces and guns rushing in. The crowd, right before my eyes, instantly descended into total chaos. Just as I was about to crawl away and hide, a heavy object suddenly slammed hard against my body. I struggled to turn my head and look. It was the auctioneer. Guy over there experiencing this bloody scene for the very first time at such close quarters. Even as a medical student, I felt like throwing up right on the spot. Realizing my chances of escape were extremely slim, I decisively lay flat on the ground and faked my death. The gunshots near my ears gradually faded. A pair of high heels stepped forward and came to a dead stop. Right in front of me, Sister Liu. Everything has been cleanly dealt with. Liu family gave me such a huge gift. Tell me, how should I return the favor? No matter what Sister Liu wants to do, I will unconditionally obey. Lin Man expressed her loyalty without the slightest hesitation, only to discover that her boss was staring with intense interest, fixedly, at a male corpse, lying on the ground. Not bad looking either. What a pity, I rather fancy this corpse. Thinking. There was some hidden meaning. Sister Liu had abandoned everything in America, changed her name and identity, and returned to the long country to acknowledge her family. She hadn't even gotten off the ship yet, before being targeted by mercenaries sent by the Liu family to assassinate her counter. Ambushing all of them went without saying, but here she was in the mood to admire a corpse sister. Lo really is a freak. How should we handle this pile of bodies? This coastal area has reef sharks roaming around year-round. Throw them all into the sea to feed fish, especially this corpse right here. Chop it up into pieces before throwing it in. Sister Liu is truly getting more and more perverted. Yes, on the Deca team, operating with extreme precision, carried several hundred dead bodies, and tossed them into the sea in an orderly fashion. Lin Man walked over to the statue. Bring me Sister Liu's dagger. Here it is. See if you need to hack it to pieces. Right now. Liu Ruyan took the dagger and strolled leisurely over to my side. Let me do it myself. What on earth did she want to do to me? I lay flat, not daring to move a muscle, only feeling the tip of my nose turn ice cold. The dagger plunged down onto the ship's deck, right in front of my face. The very next second, the tips of that woman's fingers gently brushed across my blood-stained shirt, slowly sliding inward. This woman completely refused to play by the rules. What kind of bizarre fetish does Sister Liu have here, holding a grudge against a dead man? Just as I was about to give up on faking my death, heavy weight crashed down, pressing firmly against my chest. Right after that, my lips were relentlessly kissed. That woman kissed me with passionate, lustful ferocity, as if she wanted to crush me to pieces. I struggled and resisted. Liu Ruyan let go of me, her tone carrying a hint of playfulness. You've played dead long enough, haven't you? I raised my eyes and finally caught a clear look at this woman's face. I couldn't help but admit this was a beauty. Ethereal as a fairy, I calmly asked what on earth she wanted. Lin Man standing next to her, so shocked, my jaw almost dropped, making a huge fuss. For half the day, Sister Liu went from using a dagger to teasing me. Turns out she was just playing with me. Liu Ruyan hugged my neck and sat down on my lap. Her arm suddenly tightened, as if she wished she could fuse me into her very bones and blood. You tell me, true man would rather die than face humiliation. I didn't sell myself, and I never said I was buying either. An item that should have cost 100,000 is now being handed over for free. What logic would I have not to snatch it up? To the person who outbid me and won was her. Then the fact that I survived amid that hail of bullets was also arranged single-handedly by this woman. Could it be that I've been saved? Since you saved me, can you take me home? For your great kindness and virtue, I will definitely. There is nothing I wouldn't dare to do in this life of mine, except for acting like a good person. She looked like a little vixen who had locked onto her prey. Her gaze was intense and brimming with excitement. You are already mine for the taking. I trembled, my lips weak, as I spat out 2 words. How long? Until I get bored of you. That's when. Has anyone ever complimented you on looking genuinely handsome? Handsome my ass. I used all my strength to shove her hard to the ground, turned to run. But behind me there wasn't the slightest sound. I turned my head to look. That female demon was slowly heading back up from the ground, carrying a terrifying pressure. She took menacing steps toward me. Don't you come over here. I flipped myself over the outer railing. The piercing sea breeze howled past, making me look like a piece of swaying paper about to fall. I've killed quite a few people in my time, but I've never seen anyone as fearless of death as you. Her appearance made it blatantly obvious that she was betting I wouldn't dare to jump. The sea surface below surged with rolling waves, complete with massive great white sharks swimming around. I really didn't want to die. My studies weren't finished yet. My grandfather's medical clinic hadn't even been inherited yet. I hadn't even had the chance to properly look at this world. Yuruyan's patience was clearly running out her tone, leaving only an overbearing arrogance that allowed no interference from anyone. Either you die, or you obediently become mine. I'll take it that you've made your choice from now on, Liu Ruyan. Remember this name well. It's the name of your woman. Seeing that I had no reaction, she smirked and looked at me as I was cornered, saying, call me by my name, and let me hear it. I looked at her lips, seemingly recalling something, and blushed as I called out Liu Ruyan. Sister, Liu, how long has it been since you went in 7 days already? Now I finally understand why sister. You told me to bring Wen Shanqing's file. After 7 days, why stand so far away? Sister Ruyan, these are the documents you need. Wen Shen, 20 years old, sophomore student in the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine at Chongqing University, orphaned of both father and mother, since childhood, brought up by his grandfather, who ran a medical clinic. Sister Ruyan, how is the Liu family doing now? Today, you are preparing to return to your ancestral roots. The members of the Liu family have all arrived. Take him back to Man Island. First understood. On Man Island, sat on the sofa listening to 2 maids chatting idly. What kind of ordinary people would build a villa in a place like this anyway? That's right, I heard this flower is highly toxic. It's the black datura flower, symbolizing darkness, uncertainty, death, and a fragile ephemeral love. This flower is just like that woman, gloomy, bloodthirsty, and insane. The most important thing right now is for me to escape. Grandfather won't see me coming home and will definitely be extremely worried. Just then, outside, the roaring sound of helicopter rotor blades suddenly echoed, first playing dead, and now playing asleep, passing out on the ship. Was that perhaps just an act 2, huh? What do you want with me? I wouldn't look for you unless I had a reason. I sent someone to help you to bed. Liu Ruyan walked up in front of me, her voice dripping with seductive charm as she spoke. However, it was to find you. Can we wait a few more days? Today, I'm not feeling very well. Where does it hurt? I instinctively tilted my head to the side. Ruyan's face, right in front of me, turned cold and gloomy. Are you afraid of me? It would be weird if I wasn't afraid of you. As long as you obediently listen to me, apart from your freedom, can give you everything. Could it be that you can even hand over your life to me? I muttered vaguely. Liu Ruyan finally let go of me and turned around to walk into the bathroom. I can't afford to provoke her. Otherwise, the chance to escape will become even more remote. I finally, sighed in relief, went downstairs to the kitchen to pour some water. But before the water even reached my mouth, loud noise echoed from upstairs, followed right after by a piercing scream from a woman. Get out, get the hell out of here right now. Who pissed her off? Again, I hurriedly put a glass of water down, walked toward the stairs, and looked from afar to see a man kneeling at the far end of the hallway. It was none other than one of the 2 maids from earlier in the day. I obediently walked over and stood beside Liu Ruyan. What's going on? Humph, you had just gone downstairs, and a man snuck into my room right behind you. You tell me, what am I supposed to think? She actually suspected that this man was arranged by me. She's giving me way too much credit, but in order to make my future requests easier, I had no choice but to butter her up. It's because of your boundless charm. But these people are all eagerly crashing headfirst to throw themselves at you. Upon hearing these flattery words, Lu Ruyan's expression softened visibly to the naked eye. Is that so? I nodded repeatedly like a pounding pestle. Lu Ruyan suddenly threw herself into my arms. Then why didn't you throw yourself at me? Could only awkwardly let out a bitter smile. And right at this moment, Inman reached the second floor and noticed the atmosphere. Just as she was about to sneak away, hold on. Drag this man down for me. Elder Miss Lu, I was wrong, please forgive me. I won't dare do it again. I beg you, Lu Ruyan. Have never given anyone a second chance. The words barely left her mouth before the man was swarmed and beaten, unconscious by the bodyguards. This woman is way too terrifying. This servant had served her for so many years after all, and she disposes of him the second she says so. If there ever comes a day when she gets tired of me, my fate, I'm afraid, will be way more tragic than this servant's. Scared now, huh? She seemed to find a look of suppressed anger and helplessness very amusing, and immediately leaned in for a fierce kiss. You've made me very satisfied. As long as you're obedient, this villa will be yours to command. Of course, you can also try to run away. The end result will be that you can never hope to see your own legs ever again. Did you hear that clearly? Elder Miss Lu, I won't dare do it again. I guarantee I will never appear in front of you again. Lu Ruyan, let him go. What? Toward a man who wanted to climb into your woman's bed. Someone of your type is feeling compassion here. That's right, without a bodhisattva's heart. How could you be a doctor? Let's go. She had investigated my background thoroughly down to the roots. My difficulties were much greater than I had imagined. As for the school, I couldn't even step a foot outside this villa. So how could there be any talk of finishing my education? If you serve me well and make me happy, I might even consider letting you go back to school. Since you had the guts to climb into my bed, you must have the mental preparation to forfeit your life. Oh, Elder Miss Lu, spare my life. Hey, wait, what on earth do you want in order to let him go? What a pure-hearted young man. Finished speaking. She waved her hand behind her to direct bodyguards to bring out the water dispenser from the kitchen, right into the middle of the living room. Is there something wrong with this water dispenser, Mr. Wen? We found a massive amount of magnesium sulfate in the water dispenser. The concentration per 100 milliliters exceeds the safe dosage by 50 times. Surveillance footage shows that it was precisely this servant who secretly poured it into the water dispenser before you came downstairs. Magnesium sulfate is an extremely potent laxative. He and I have no feud or grudge. Why would he want to harm? Wasn't he afraid of accidentally killing Lu Ruyan as well? If she hadn't called me back just now, I probably would have already drank that entire cup of poison. I looked at her, temporarily not knowing what to say. Even though I utterly detested this woman, I had to admit, she really did save me time and time again. Once from a shootout, once from falling into the sea, and now this time as well. Enough with the empty thanks to something practical instead. Come over here and kiss me. I looked at the surrounding people, standing still, not moving. Lu Ruyan's gaze swept across them coldly, spitting out 2 words. It lost all of you. Bodyguards immediately dragged the servant outside. Can you not kill him? Lu Ruyan Leisure-Linus stared straight at me. It depends on your performance. I lowered my eyes awkwardly and pressed my lips against hers. After that, I didn't even know what to do next. Lu Ruyan raised an eyebrow, mocking. Did you just graduate from kindergarten? Early the next morning, Lu Ruyan woke up to find the space beside her completely empty. Hey, where did the guy go? Just as she stepped out into the hallway, she saw me standing at the stairs, looking up at her. I made breakfast. Do you want to come down and try a bite? My gaze was gentle, like the warm sunshine of spring. Lu Ruyan looked at me in surprise as well. Did the sun rise from the west today, or what? Just as she was about to walk downstairs, she realized she was only wearing an ultra-short nightgown. Damn it! I immediately pulled back my smile. Turns out the moment I was out of her sight, she had been so stressed she didn't even have time to put on clothes. If I actually tried to run away, it wouldn't be strange. She chopped my bones and minced my flesh into dust. I turned around and headed back to the kitchen, flying each dim sum dish onto the dining table. Why am I acting so guilty as charged, huh? Calmly took a sip of fresh milk. What could I possibly be acting guilty about? The woman glanced at the glass of fresh milk in my hand and just like that, snatched it away, drinking it clean. Don't you have your own glass? Why do you have to drink from mine? Ruyan put the glass down and reached out to wipe away the streak of milk, lingering at the corner of my lips, then brought that finger up to her own mouth and lightly licked it, wearing a deeply affectionate expression, as if she were tasting some kind of supreme delicacy. I instantly understood her intentions and my scalp began to tingle. Hurriedly using the back of my hand to wipe frantically around my face, the woman chuckled and said, seeing how hard you're trying to butter me up, speak, what do you want? Normally, can I borrow your study to use the internet? It's so boring here. Yuruyan's expression instantly turned cold. Is being with me that boring? I'd say you really have too much time on your hands. Eat your food properly. Tonight I'll wait for you after speaking. She took her sweet time, biting into the piece of toast in her hand. The butter, cheese smeared across her fingers like paint. She stared right at me and licked the cheese clean off her finger, watching her do that felt as if she were treating me like her meal. My heart instantly sank to the bottom of the abyss, but fortunately, I finally succeeded in getting access to the internet, turning on the computer and starting my search for documents related to this island, the eldest miss of the Liu family. Liu Qingyu is the Liu Ruyan I know, head of the prestigious clan dominating Jiangnan, who made her fortune in Southeast Asia in the early days. Through the efforts of 3 generations, family heads, they gradually washed away their underworld background. Liu Ruyan was just recently welcomed back as the eldest daughter by the current family head, Liu Qingyu. Her biological mother's identity is unclear. Liu Qingyu has a total of 3 wives. The first wife, Trang Noklan, practices Buddhism year-round and leads a pure, simple lifestyle. She has had no children since marriage. Second wife, Duang Nyato, who, Madame Duyang's character is terrible, hailing from the countryside and formerly a servant of the Liu family. After an intimate affair, in secret she gave birth to a daughter, Liu Nihe, and smoothly stepped up to the coveted position of the second wife. The third wife, Susing, is just over 30 years old this year. Her figure and appearance are exceptionally well maintained, having raised a daughter named Liu Shu from morning till noon. Within just this short span, half-a-day news related to the Liu family kept popping up overwhelmingly everywhere. Conversely, as for this island, I only managed to dig up a single name. Aside from that name, I gained absolutely nothing else. Now I finally understand why that servant from last night would risk his life to pull off such a stunt. Mr. When the young lady told me to come and take care of you while you dine, instead of taking care of me, calling it monitoring me would be much more accurate. Auntie, what should I call you, mister? Can just call me mother. Entering the dining room, I realized that from top to bottom in this villa all the servants had been replaced by middle-aged women and aunties, around 50 years old, judging by Liu Ruyan's looks. What good would blocking people around 50 do? Even 80-year-olds wouldn't make any difference. Making such a redundant move very quickly. Over a dozen dishes, bursting with rich colors and aromas, were served onto the table one after another. This was definitely not a portion for one person. I looked over at Mother Ha and asked Mother Ha, "Have you eaten yet? Would you like to sit down and eat with me?" "Oh my no, absolutely not. Mister, please go ahead and eat by yourself." I didn't press any further and directly began devouring the food voraciously while probing for information. Mother Ha, have you been in this line of work for long? Hearing this, Mother Ha smiled with a hint of embarrassment. I just started doing this year. Is that so? I had originally thought that Mother Ha might know some shady secrets about the Liu family, so I could gather some more gossip about that crazy woman, Mr. Sir loves carrots, don't you? That's right, I couldn't say I dislike them. Otherwise, there won't be any left to eat next time. Mother Ha, with a face marked by faint traces of wrinkles, revealed a vague, gentle smile. Mr. looks so much like my son. He also loved eating carrots immensely. Mother Ha, you have a son. Then he must be much older than me, right? Around the same age as you, mister. The poor boy passed away early this year. Passed away? You mean he died? What's done is done. I need to put my escape plan into action this very afternoon, so I don't get pestered by that woman in the evening. But if I escape, what's going to happen to Mother Ha? That crazy woman Lu Ruyan, would she slaughter an innocent person? Right now, I couldn't care less about all that, not even for a single moment. Did I want to stay in this place? Grandfather is still at home waiting for me. The old man must be worried sick before Lu Ruyan comes back. I have to find an opportunity to slip outside with weather. This nice mister. Do you want to go outside for a stroll? For a bit, didn't the housekeeper tell you, Mother, that I'm not allowed to step outside the door? She did mention it, but mister, you can't just stay cooped up inside the house forever. You'll get bored and fall sick. Could there really be such a good thing? Did Liu Ruyan change her ways? Or is this an intentional setup to lure me out? Forget about her escaping is the main priority. Then the two of us will take advantage of the time the housekeeper is away to sneak out quietly. If we get caught, just say I insisted on going outside. That way you won't get blamed or punished. Really, that's wonderful. Mother Ha works as a servant in this villa. Truly, your guts are getting a bit too big, but the bolder you are, the better. It suits my plans. So let's set off in 5 minutes, okay? Mister, you look truly too much like my son. You also love eating carrots to death. You like to smile. And your tall, slim figure is exactly like his too. And you also wear this cheerful expression when chatting with me. I'll go upstairs to get a few necessary items. The escape plan had already formed in my head at the thought of heading to Shangcheng. Elder Miss, that person confessed that the assassination attempt was ordered by second wife Duangya Tue. Should we report this to the old master of the Liu family? How could he possibly care about the daughter left behind by my mother? After all, he had betrayed her in the past. Even if I were to be killed, so what? Elder Miss, when I get back, I will punish myself for this. How could I have been so foolish as to think that if Liu Qingyu actually valued the Elder Miss, how could he have handed Liu Pharmaceuticals over to her to manage? Among all of the Liu family's subsidiaries, the annual revenue of Liu Pharmaceuticals always ranked at the bottom. After all, a century-old clan relying on a sea of blood and fierce winds to consolidate its power. What kind of foundation could they possibly have in the medical and pharmaceutical field? Fine, when you collapse. Who is going to do the work for me? Let's hope the Elder Miss, after reading through this bundle of documents, won't fly into a fit of rage. Is this really all of it? 50% of the directors of Liu Pharma have had people planted there by the second wife, while another 20% have been taken over by the third wife. More than half of the company is completely out of the Elder Miss's hands. Elder Miss, please calm your anger. Indeed, I could only pick up this much. Lin Man practically didn't dare to raise her head to reply. Go investigate Duangya Tu's daughter. Ozayo was fundamentally a profit-driven man. What he couldn't stand the most, wouldn't it be his interests being compromised? Understood. What is he doing right now? According to a report from an hour ago, Mr. Wen and a female servant were discussing going outside for a stroll. A female servant, you say? Yes. Currently, the two of them have managed to evade the housekeeper's sight and sneaked out from the back door. Should we send people to bring them back? Transfer the camera feed over here. Understood. Yuruyan opened her tablet. The middle-aged female servant beside her seemed to be saying something. Zoom in. I have both wealth and looks. People lining up to pursue me would stretch from here all the way to France. But there is actually someone who dares to say, I'm not a good match. Is this old maid stuffed to the brim with excess fat, or something daring to instigate Wenshin to look for someone else? Has she grown tired of living? Give that old auntie a beating and throw her out. Yes, Elder Miss. Wait, how dare this man flash such a bright smile when I'm not around? Could it be that I'm some kind of flood or savage beast? Keep that female servant around for now. Well, should we send people to escort Mr. Wen back to the villa? The woman didn't answer, seemingly distracted. Her eyes glued tightly to that youthful, radiant, smiling face, looking both reluctant to look away and greedy at the same time, just like someone who has lived in total darkness their entire life, getting their very first glimpse of sunlight. No need. Tell the people on Man Island to step up patrol intensity. Yes, Boss Liu. The afternoon senior executive meeting is waiting only for you, sir. Yuruyan paid no mind at all. Her gaze still fixed on the tablet. How are the cleanup operations coming along? They've all been handled, ma'am. Those who had never seen Mr. Wen's face have already been let go. The two people who had seen him have been placed under strict guard. Yuruyan propped the tablet upright on her desk. Behind her the man was leisurely, unbathing the corners of his lips, carrying a smile frozen right there on the screen. Night fell as I lay on the bed, staring blankly up at the ceiling. My escape plan was declared a failure, not to mention people on this island. Not even a single fly could dream of flying out. Every single dock or helicopter landing pad was guarded, unless I could jump into the sea and swim all the way to the opposite shore of Zhangcheng, which was obviously something I was incapable of doing. Thankfully, I did manage to harvest a few unexpected gains. Leaving the residential villa area, all kinds of traditional Chinese medicinal herbs grew across other areas, truly resembling a treasure trove. Thinking about this, I couldn't help sitting up and opening the wardrobe. Tractylodes, Angelica de Hurrica, Leonuris. I carefully used the clothes to hide the bunch of herbs away. Just as I was about to, a fragrant scent drifted over and hit me straight on. What are you looking at? Hearing her ask, my heart skipped a beat. I tried hard to suppress the fear of getting caught red-handed and slowly opened my mouth. All the clothes you bought. I've seen them. A guy like me won't be able to use up that many. If I didn't have to go outside during the day, you honestly wouldn't need to use them. I lowered my head slightly to avoid letting my gaze meet her seductive eyes. I'm going to take a bath. Uruyan pressed even closer to me, her eyes full of affection, her long curled eyelashes brushing lightly against my jaw like a feather. Let's take a bath together, shall we? I jolted in surprise. This is absolute madness. Why am I being pushed by a woman? This kind of state. Liu Ruyan pulled away from me and deliberately took off those silver high heels right in front of me. I stared at the person in front of me, frozen, stiff as if I were about to turn into a statue. Why so tense? Back on the ship. Weren't we an extremely in-sync partnership, huh? My face instantly flushed, bright red spreading all the way to the tips of my ears, to a point where I could even hear the sound of my own uncontrollable heartbeat. Seeing me standing there, rooted to the spot, Liu Ruyan grabbed me and dragged me straight into the bathroom. I grabbed her hand that was acting all unruly. What's wrong, bro? A complex emotion surged within me, feeling both embarrassed and forceful as I turned on the shower head. The freezing stream of water poured straight down onto me as I struggled to regain even a shred of reason. The water temperature gradually rose. Steam filled the air, and it turned out to be another sleepless night. Over the next few days, that woman Liu Ruyan went off somewhere. I seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I tried my absolute best to sneak outside to pick flowers and herbs, mainly targeting the black datura flowers surrounding the villa. Different parts of this flower possess different medicinal properties. As long as poison dosage is strictly controlled, it can cause a person's nervous system to become temporarily paralyzed without going as far as causing fatality. Sitting in a corner of the villa's backyard, two figures were trying their utmost to grind fresh flower petals into powder and put it into a powder spray bottle. Mother Ha looked hesitatingly at the person across from her. Mister, do you really want to escape? I definitely have to escape. Besides, I also plan on taking you with me. I didn't quite understand, Mother Ha. Didn't you say before that a wealthy and powerful person like Miss Liu wouldn't be a good match for me, and advised me to go find someone else? Well, I did say that, that's true, but I never could have imagined that she'd be this powerful. Not only is she the eldest miss of the Liu family, but that grand display of force that morning. First airplanes, then warships. No matter how you look at it, she doesn't seem like the type of person you can easily mess with. Mister, what I mean is, just in case we get caught, you can just pin all the blame on me. Just confess that this old woman harbored malicious intentions and instigated and forced you to do it as a real man. How could I let Mother Ha take the fall for that? How could that possibly happen? That long unexperienced feeling of warmth suddenly reminded me of my grandfather. Mister, sometimes looking at you feels just like looking at my own son back home. Also right in the prime of his youth. How bright and beautiful it was. How full of vitality. This old worn-out body of mine is already reaching the point of rusting and rotting away, completely useless for anything anymore. Letting me take the blame for the crimes would actually be best for both of us. You are still young, and your journey ahead is long. You can't let. Listen to me, Mother. We will definitely escape from this place together. I promise you. Turning to the living room, those people, maids, had finished setting up dinner. Mother Ha, let's eat together, mister. That wouldn't be very appropriate. I'm a servant. How could I sit at the dining table, Mother? Anyway, we're soon going to be fugitives, escaping together. Anyway, Very soon, we won't be master and servant anymore. Mister, it's still better to stay on your guard just in case. Let's start eating. We need to eat our fill with this meal. Only when we're full can we use the cover of the dark night to slip away. Oh, that's right, Mother Ha. From now on, just call me directly by my name calling me. Mr. sounds way too stiff and formal. And can I call you Wenshin? Is that all right? Yes, of course. Usually grandfather also calls me Wenshin. Wenshin the cash you brought with you. Is it enough? If it's not enough, Mother Ha, and take some more and give you a bit, you and your grandfather. The two of you are traveling together. Expenses along the way definitely won't be small. There's no need for that. Just keep a bit more for yourself. Find a place that Liu Ruyan can never trace to live out a peaceful life. What kind of huge expenses would I even have to spend on? At most, buying a few offerings for my son's grave. That's all. Hearing Mother Ha's words, suddenly, I also quickly realized that if Liu Ruyan truly harbored the obsession to hunt us down, she would definitely track down Mother Ha's weak spots, so visiting the grave seemed to have become an impossible feat, which is for the best, saving me from constantly being weighed down by those old matters. But I could never let go of Mother Ha had never mentioned how her son ultimately passed away. But I could tell from hidden grief in Mother Ha's tone and guess that the story behind it was likely very heavy and heartbreaking. Mother Ha placed a plate of fish with all the bones removed right in front of me. Up, child. I buried my head in my bowl of rice. If it weren't for Liu Ruyan, probably would have loved this island immensely, Wenshin. From now on, always strictly follow Mother Ha's advice. Find someone who knows how to treat you well, someone who cares about you, supports you, can bring joy into your life, and makes you feel completely free and unrestrained. You must stay far away from those vicious types of women. Definitely never listen to their temptations. Outside, National Private Cemetery. Grant him freedom. Are you daydreaming? Shoo. An order that all patrol guards on the island tonight must wear masks. Understood, Elder Miss. Do we need to arrange gas masks as well? No need, making it too obvious. Ruins the fun. Beside the tombstone, tree of flowers was quietly blooming. Flawless snow-white blossoms. Elder Miss. It's the second miss. Because of being unable to pay off her massive gambling debts, she has been running her mouth, threatening to blow up your Man Island tonight. A cornered dog jumping over the wall, huh? Raise Man Island's security level to the maximum. Avoid alarming that innocent male student. Understood. Lin Man saw that the time was approaching, pushed open the car door to step out, followed by a squad of bodyguards, security personnel lining up to protect the outer perimeter. The woman then stepped out of the car and walked straight toward the center of the cemetery as the woman's figure shrank down to the size of a palm. Lin Man's phone buzzed with an alert. Sister Man. The island is under heavy artillery fire. Our people have suffered countless casualties. What on earth happened? According to scans, the skies above Man Island right now, there aren't just S-31 fighter jets, but also S-7 stealth aircraft and S-class combat jets. This is a type of stealth fighter jet capable of evading radar. Global production count doesn't even fill 2 hands. The Elder Miss possesses a few of them, while the rest, as far as she knew, had all been bought up by other factions and organizations, which means that the Elder Miss's rivals have seized this opportunity to make their move. What on earth they want to push the Elder Miss into a dead end? Within the Lu military forces, someone has secretly colluded with the Elder Miss's rivals. They are clearly pushing things to the absolute limit. Lin Man cast a very complex gaze toward the figure kneeling before the tombstone and turned back around to ask, what about Mr. Wen? The situation right now is far too chaotic. Aerial reconnaissance hasn't been able to observe yet. You can see that the entire main building of the villa area has completely collapsed. Collapsed, you say? This bombardment is going to last at least for the next few hours. Even if someone wasn't blown to death being buried alive under the rubble, I'm afraid they wouldn't stand a chance of survival either. It was so difficult for the Elder Miss to find a man who caught her eye and whom she could take in. What a pity! Lin Man let out a heavy sigh, hanging up the phone, reporting. Got it. Keep a close watch on them for me. Report any new developments. Immediately. Understood. Lin Man suddenly heard some bodyguards in the blind spot whispering among themselves, that's because you're number 10. Of course, this is all part of the plan for the Elder Miss to visit her mother's grave every year, right on schedule. She comes all the way here to pay her respects and kneels straight for a full 3 hours. Is the elder Mrs. Business something that trash like you have any right to flap your gums about? If these words accidentally leak into the ears of the rival faction, every grain of dirt in this massive cemetery will be blown sky high by them. Just watch. Sister, man, I deserve to die. When we get back, I'll willingly take 3 strokes of punishment, and you too be self-aware and take 3 strokes when we return. From now on, keep things you shouldn't be probing, listening into to a minimum. Miss Liu hates being disturbed by others the most right now. Should we really report this to her or not? Reporting it, what good would that do anyway? We'd just lose a few airplanes, lose fighter jets, lose the value of a whole fleet, which fundamentally is just a grain of sand in the desert. Even if we set off right now and fly straight back there, it would still take 10 hours. Better just wait for her to come out and deal with it then. Man Island at this moment was drowning in a hail of bombs and gunfire. Deafening explosions rocked the air. Thick smoke billowed, and raging fires soared straight up into the blue sky. Being a canary in a golden cage is something one can resign themselves to, right? But occasionally, being subjected to life-threatening hazards as well. Being beside this demonic woman, Lu Ruyan is no place for a human being at all. Wenshin, hurry up and run forward. Mother. If you want to go, we'll go together. I'll carry you on my back, Mother. Are you all right? Be careful, Mother. Can you hear what I'm saying, Mother? Please wake up. Am I really going to lose my life and be buried in a place like this, Wenshin? Mother, Mother, I'll carry you away. We're leaving right now. Grandfather's healing techniques are super powerful. He will definitely cure Mother. Can absolutely cure you. I'm taking you away immediately. Go live out the life that belongs to you alone. Good child. If you get the chance, remember to go visit my son for me. Okay? Number 66. Fukan Road, Jangbei District. Mother Ha. And can I call you Wenshin? Is that all right? Wenshin, the cash you brought with you. Is it enough? If it's not enough, Mother Ha can take some more and give you a bit, Wenshin. From now on, always strictly follow Mother Ha's advice. Find someone who knows how to treat you well. Someone who cares about you, supports you, can bring joy into your life, and makes you feel completely free and unrestrained. Whether, this nice mister, you want to go outside for a stroll for a bit. Didn't the housekeeper tell you, Mother, that I'm not allowed to step outside the door, huh? She did mention it, but mister, you can't just stay cooped up inside the house forever. You'll get bored and fall sick. Why must someone as kind-hearted and gentle as Mother Ha have to endure such agonizing torment? Why on earth? Elder Miss, it's all because I failed to report the situation in time. If this matter causes any serious harm whatsoever, Lin can volunteer to take full responsibility. Transfer the surveillance camera feed of his position. Over here, yes, Elder Miss Linman stood up blankly and pulled the curtain partition to separate the front cabin of the aircraft once again. Feeling somewhat confused in her mind was the elder miss, ultimately burning with anger. Furious or not angry at all, inside the rear cabin of the airplane, Lu Ruyan grabbed the tablet beside her head, her fingertips tapping against the screen out of rhythm. How much longer will this take? Right away, ma'am. As soon as the words left her mouth, the tablet instantly lit up in response. Her fingertips deftly operated it, and less than a few seconds later, 2 familiar figures appeared on the rear surveillance camera. The time was paused at the moment 10 minutes before the explosion. Started Linman. Transfer control to release drone aircraft to fly around the island and search and synchronize the image data to my end. Few minutes later, the drone released, downward looking, just like a bird. Searching around blindly, without any destination, Linman couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. What on earth is the elder miss trying to find? Lu Ruyan didn't answer directly, only coldly speaking. Remote control is rather difficult, but it still obediently follows the will of its master, proceeding to transfer back control of the aircraft, using the villa's location as the central coordinate point for the search. After circling around once finally, Lu Ruyan also discovered a figure that had been deeply embedded in the doorway. Naturally, it was indeed that old auntie who was bold enough to find a new lover. Under these circumstances, Could she have already died, stiff and cold, long ago? Recording footage once again captured a wooden raft at the far-off pier, which no longer had the bright, fiery red lips of the woman who was originally staring intently slowly find someone to go inspect the pile preliminarily if she has already vanished and died. Then the grudge and threat. Lin Man opened her mouth to ask, what if she's still alive? Small curve at the corner of Liu Ruyan's mouth, accompanied by a hint of playfulness. Deep within the depths of her eyes appeared a few glints of ruthlessness. Then she must be dragged back from the gates of death, no matter what. Best kind is one who has only a single breath left hanging. Understood, boss. I'll immediately arrange for the medical room to be on standby to handle things precisely. According to all your requested requirements, prepare the vehicle. Wenshen, do you really daydream, thinking that you can escape the palm of my hand, huh? Lin Man was extremely curious and puzzled. Is the elder Miss not going back to Man Island to check the situation? Not going to Fenglin Alley first? Fenglin Alley. Isn't that the address where Mr. Wen's grandfather resides? Could it be that the elder miss has the malicious intention to personally show up at the door, deliver the tragic news of Mr. Wen's death? That's not right at all. How could that match our style? Watching the curtain, Liu Ruyan took graceful strides, walking gently and skillfully, straight toward the cockpit of the aircraft. Does the elder miss have the urge to pilot the plane herself? Indeed, that is the case. The airplane suddenly accelerated, and just like that, plunged toward the Liu estate, occupying an entire sprawling garden villa with lush greenery spanning hundreds of acres, including the courtyard located in the western corner. At this moment, the lingering tunes of Kunka Opera Peony Pavilion were being sung to their final conclusion. Du Rulan was reclining lazily on a lounge chair made of rosewood. Human beings, once they die, are truly completely different from ordinary people. Even down to descending all the way to the underworld, they still plan to babble bizarre and terrifying nonsense. That person had made several servants wave their hands to pull away. The actors performing the opera slowly, dragging those performing singers and dancers along slowly, leaning back against the bamboo chair. But instead of, "You, let's negotiate and try it out," father brought her child and, by the way, admitted her into Liu Pharmaceuticals. Then what is the real plot and intention behind it? Assuming that the family head never really liked the elder miss to begin with, his humble servant's humble thought is that the family head is worried that I will make that department on the day the body is driven away without a single penny to her name in her pocket, can be trained and nurtured. To what kind of good breed? Trash generated from a pile of dung beetles. And what kind of person can lead and manage the company? Does Madam's meaning here suggest that the family head bringing that company and handing it over to the elder miss is intended for me to practice self-cultivation further, that vile wretch herself dipped her own body to commit acts that cheapen morals? If the family head didn't harbor such endless nostalgia, then why would he bring that petty woman Liu Ruyan into the household and even favor taking the trouble to build a flower pavilion? Could she see the scene of the first day she stepped in to confess her crimes? The family head, upon seeing that physical face, was that gaze of soul-lost deep affection and delusional dreaming. The mindset of this second madam is just looking for a chopping block to place that incorrigible troublesome demoness onto. That's right, exactly. That's why they say living people walking around and breathing. Like us, how can we compete and contend for favor against a ghost like Liu Ruyan, who has already turned to ashes? Mother. Someone who is permanently lost is always an entity that makes old Huchen. At the front of the courtyard, suddenly a shout echoed through. Mother. Mother rushing frantically straight into the courtyard. Mother looking as hurried and panicked as if going to war. Mother. Your child is dead for sure this time. Du Roland stopped and unconcernedly asked back. You blew through all your money again, didn't you? Mother. I'm really done for this time, Mother. Hurry up and call Dad over to protect me. Du Roland, upon catching the words hurriedly, propped up the upper half of her body on the bed. Dead. What massive trouble have you stirred up for me this time, huh? Didn't I tell you to keep a low profile lately? My dear beloved mother, promise me first you'll find Dad to protect me. Du Roland glared at her. All right, speak. She used the strength of Liu Niang's hand to get up from the chair and walked over to sit by the tea table on the side. Go pour a cup of tea over here, yes. Liu Niang sat down opposite her and hesitatingly spoke. At the casino, Away, I owe 100 million. What did you say, 100 million? If that wretched girl hadn't provoked me at the casino, I wouldn't have gone to such extremes either. 100 million. Trying to scrape it together a bit probably isn't a problem, mother. There's one more thing. I blew up her island. Didn't I do a great job with this? If we don't get to live in peace, she shouldn't even dream of living in peace. No less than the good daughter of my Durulan. But what about Dad's side? Did she run off to snitch to your dad? About that, not yet. Dad still doesn't know about this. If your dad doesn't know, what are you blabbering about? She's going to tell him sooner or later anyway. Might as well we speak first. Mother. Didn't you previously teach me to always seize the upper hand? Giving birth to a complete fool. Not even half as smart as me. Just look at yourself, just in case your dad finds out. You must grit your teeth and deny it to the death for me. Did you hear me clearly? You are the Liu family miss, born right out of this Durulan's belly. What's a little money, or even taking a life compared to that? Major issue, but absolutely cannot let your dad find out. Otherwise, how can you compete for assets with that girl anymore? Mother, you tell me, is Yuruyan super rich? Where on earth would she get money? If she had money, would she still crawl back to claim family roots? What else could Dad be doing, other than coveting the assets of our Liu family? And why could she afford that island? Humph, that wretched island. How much is it even worth? I am poisonous grass and poisonous flowers. At initial price last year, nobody even wanted to take. Everyone said it would ruin the feng shui, but the daughters who went out were never seen returning. They all died out there completely. No way, absolutely no way. If that wretched girl knew those people were sent by me, is there any reason why he wouldn't make a fuss about this in front of the family head? Child. I think it's because of that island's feng shui. If she really had money, then why would she be satisfied with a few pocket change? But from Liu Pharmaceuticals. I think it must be because that island's feng shui was way too bad. It ended up getting her own people killed. That's right, that wretched girl. Even my planted mole inside Liu Pharmaceuticals she managed to. You certainly don't understand anything about company business. So how could she have money? All right, you go back. First, Mother will help you cover this sum of money up front, so she doesn't go snitching and poking holes in front of your dad later. That's amazing, Mother. Thank goodness for you. I love you, Mother. Carry this matter deep down in your stomach for me. Did you hear me clearly? Yes, definitely buried deep. The entire Fenglin alley had been completely cleaned up. Uruyan took steps walking toward the end of the alley, in front of the shabby clinic. The rolling shutter was half open. The atmosphere was quiet to the extreme. Woman lifted the rolling shutter, ducked inside the clinic. Elder Miss, this is Mr. Wen's grandfather's. This bloodstain has dried up and turned black a long time ago. Judging from the color, it has been here for a very long time. She made a hand gesture. Thin Man understood instantly. There are no findings here. Pull back and search outside. Understood. A very soft sob suddenly rang out from the 6 o'clock direction, so faint that it seemed to dissolve and vanish into the air. Liu Ruyan turned and walked toward the forest outside the backyard. Just as she stepped into the woods, she saw the person she was looking for. Wenshen forcefully shook her hand off. Get the hell away from me. In the face of Liu Ruyan, it was unclear whether it was anger or heartache. She stepped forward and lifted my face up. My angry eyes at this moment must have been full of bloodshot veins. You don't even want to look at me, huh? At this very moment, my mind was entirely filled with countless corpses on the island. Remembering the agonizing screams of everyone. Remembering the scene where I watched Mother pass away with my own eyes. You psycho, you are a demon, causing the deaths of so many people like that. You killed Mother, and now my grandfather is missing too. It's all because of you. Get lost. Get lost right now. I stood up and glared fiercely at the woman in front of me. She didn't reply, only pulling out her phone to instruct Linman to send a car over and send her the location she was planning to capture me back there again. Ever since meeting Liu Ruyan, there hasn't been a single good thing. Mother is dead. Grandfather is missing. My life has completely collapsed. Very quickly, Linman stepped down from the black car. Elder Miss Liu Ruyan calmly dropped a single sentence. Take him to the hospital. I'm not going. You are mine. Where else do you think you're running off to? Her bewitching voice rang out as a silver needle suddenly pressed close to the woman's shoulder, accurately piercing straight into her carotid artery. I looked at her resolutely. Let me go. The man outside the window saw this scene and was scared half to death. She hurriedly tried to open the car door, only to find the car door had been locked tightly from the inside out before she even noticed. Inman understood clearly that this was the elder Mrs.'s intention, leaving her helpless as she waited outside in the car. Liu Ruyan looked at me with great interest. Make your move, bro. Suddenly feeling that dying together with you actually isn't so bad after all. Ruyan, you are truly a lunatic from head to toe. As if this were something worth. Looking forward to Liu Ruyan leisurely sat down on my lap, leaning over and pressing right against my ear. You stole so many flowers and herbs from my island, and I haven't even made you pay for them yet. Wenshin, haven't I treated you well enough yet? Turns out all my actions were all exposed transparently right under her eyelids, and yet I still deluded myself into thinking I could escape Man Island and slip away from the palm of her hand. If I went back, this woman would absolutely not let me go look for grandfather. Without mother, without grandfather, becoming a caged bird with no freedom. How is that any different from death? My hands cannot be stained, eh? Deafening, piercing scream almost punctured my eardrums, feeling no pain on my neck. I turned my head to look. The silver needle had pierced deeply into Liu Ruyan's palm, fresh blood seeping out along the needle hole. I looked at her in astonishment. Liu Ruyan frowned as she looked at her bright red palm. She forced me to look straight into her eyes, her gaze filled with anger. You want to die that badly, huh? Being imprisoned by your side. How is that any different from death? What am I even considered to you? Hell, sure, hell isn't wrong either. But even so, there is no way I will let you go. Didn't you love that auntie so much? Then I'll create a reason for you to live. That auntie isn't dead yet. Liu Ruyan gestured with her hand to Linman outside the window. Elder miss, to the hospital first. I will bandage you up. Do you promise not to escape? I will allow you to stay by her side. And we have to find grandfather too. Liu Ruyan nodded in agreement. Immediately. Deal. I don't know if doing this is right or wrong, but I didn't have any other choice left. Did I actually? The words I just said were only spoken in the heat of anger. He didn't actually kill Mother Hai purposely. Said it like that, not expecting her to use her hand to block that needle strike. I'm sorry, and thank you for saving Mother. What did you say? Liu Ruyan looked at me in disbelief. In this lifetime, no one had ever said those 3 words to her. Well, then you still stuck me with a needle. How should this debt be settled, huh? That was brought upon yourself, having to wait until the very last second. Pull out Mother Ha's situation to manipulate me. What a smooth-talking, clever arguer you are. And yet, I somehow seem to like this sharp-tongued, edgy side of Wenshin even more. That island being blown up is for the best. At least Wenshin won't be so terrified of me anymore, right? It's also not impossible. Consider sparing Lunang, a way to survive through glass pane. I saw Mother Hai lying inside the ICU, with her entire body stuck full of breathing tubes. It seemed even breathing took more effort than she had left. Heck, I heard that out of 3 people brought into this ICU, keeping one alive and getting them out of here is already a massive blessing from above. I think this case is in serious trouble. Who's to say otherwise? Look at that ventilator. It hasn't even been half a day, and the alarm has gone off more times than I can count. I'd say the situation is even more critical than my old man's back home. Who the hell are you guys? On what grounds are you beating people up in broad daylight, attacking people arbitrarily? Is there even any law left, huh? I gave the order for them to beat you up. What kind of nobody are you to dare lay a hand on me? If you don't kneel down and apologize to me today, don't even think about walking out of here alive. I dare to kneel. Do you dare accept it? I spit. I'll kneel for you to see. If I don't beat you today, until you call your dad and mom crying and begging for mercy, then I won't. Stop talking. That person looks like the elder miss of the Liu family. Let's get out of here fast. Consider yourself lucky. Wipe all the surveillance clean, understood? Even if the elder miss didn't order it, I would still completely wipe clean all traces of Wenshin. He was by the elder miss's side. Nothing can be left behind under any circumstances, and absolutely no one must ever find out. Haven't you seen enough? I want to stay here to take care. Haven't looked enough. I want to stay here to take care. Care of mother, huh? If you have business to take care of, just go back first. You don't need to worry about me. What kind of attitude is this? Now even talking to me, you can't even be bothered to be polite anymore. Huh? No way, what are you planning to do? Yuruyan stopped her hand. Her eyes swept across my face, making me jump in surprise as I hurriedly dodged and turned my head away. Yuruyan, this is a hospital. That's why I told you to come home with me, but you insisted on refusing. I thought you wanted to stay and work here instead. If you don't want to stay right here, then obediently follow me back. In a short, while I was teased by her, to the point of being utterly speechless and unable to find a retort. If you stubbornly refuse to listen, I honestly have no idea what stunt I'll pull next either. I had no choice but to compromise and say, if mother suddenly wakes up, what should we do? She really needs someone to be on standby. You must find someone. Keep watch for her. Luruyan parted her fiery red lips and spat out 2 words. Beg me, you despicable, shameless jerk. Beg you further. I don't like using mere words. What do you mean? He dragged me straight down to the basement parking garage. Night to night, for every time you do it, I'll find that many people to stand guard and look after her ICU. I sat in the car with a cold face, not saying another word. She rested her chin on one hand, tilting her head to look at me, her face displaying an incomprehensibly smug expression. Was stared at by Liu Ruyin until I felt completely unnatural. How is it have I completely bewitched you, huh? I once again got to witness the heaven-defying methods of this woman. Barely a single day had passed. Man Island had been bombed less than a day ago, yet the villa had already been completely restored to its original state save for some flowers, grass, and trees that needed a large amount of time to be replanted and grow. Everything else bore almost no difference. Inside the living room, Liu Ruyan was lounging lazily on the sofa, having changed into a silk nightgown of a subdued, elegant color, the soft fabric perfectly outlining the curves of her body. Mr. Wen, all the paper items inside your grandfather's clinic, including the prescription booklets, medical record, notebooks, pens, sign-in logs, and basically anything with handwriting on it have all been gathered here. We have already conducted preliminary inspection and properly stored and preserved them. Thank you, Sister Lin. If I had to search by myself, I honestly wouldn't know when I'd ever finish. The person you should be thanking is right here, you know. Bro, don't go thanking the wrong person now. This crazy woman sometimes looks so childish indeed. I helplessly let out a perfunctory expression of gratitude. Thanks. Happy now, Lin Man stood off to one side, wanting to speak, yet hesitating given this awkward atmosphere. Should she really leave first, or shamelessly barge in and interrupt here? Speaking the truth right now, I seriously suspect the elder miss has a bit of a masochistic streak, always loving the game, forcing a cow to drink water by sitting right on top of its head. Seeing Lin Man hesitating and refusing to leave, Liu Ruyan spoke up to ask, speak. According to the blood test results, that pool of blood on the ground truly belongs to Mr. Wen's grandfather, meaning Dao Mengping, the old master. The time of its appearance is estimated to be over a week ago, right around the same time frame when I was kidnapped onto the yacht. Grandfather and I are just ordinary citizens. Why did we have to encounter such a horrifying tragedy? Who did this? And ultimately, for what purpose? I was lost in such deep thought that I momentarily lost control, and my hand unconsciously gripped Liu Ruyan's hand so hard it turned red. Sorry, not only are you not a jinx, bringing bad luck, but you've also saved me countless times. You've helped me with quite a lot of things as well. Now I couldn't help leaning closer. Then I couldn't help but step closer, slowly, gently blowing on the wound on Liu Ruyan's hand. She, stunned as she watched my actions, suddenly lunged forward and hugged me tightly. What's wrong? She raised her head, putting on a pitiful, grievance-filled expression. Wunwunshen. It hurts so much, A person who normally rarely gets intimate or close with anyone, and even when injured, grits their teeth and suffers in silence without a plea for mercy. Turning into a steel rose as tough as the elder miss could actually act like this right in front of this man. This man was naturally no ordinary guy. Elder miss Liu Ruyan heard there was official business and immediately waved her hand, sitting up straight. Go ahead and speak. Second Madame has already finished paying off the 100 million debt for the second miss. Her actions extremely cautious. Temporarily, it's still impossible to determine whether she is the one who colluded with the Ankh Kwok organization and pulled the strings behind the scenes to plan the attack on Man Island. Do we need to capture her back for a thorough interrogation and torture by force? What meaning would that even have? Letting her drag her own face here to beg for mercy isn't that much more interesting, huh? Announced to the entire senior executive lineup of the Liu family to immediately prepare the bidding documents. The goal is to seize the primary sales agency rights for the K-19 project. Understood, boss. But anyway, Elder Miss, didn't you previously plan to target the second Miss Liu Ning and make your move against her, huh? Spare her a path to survive. I strictly obey the motto that knowing too much makes you die the fastest. So I stood up, preparing to leave. If hearing would somehow be switched off by itself, then at this moment, I'd only regret not being able to become a deaf guy right now. I'm still hurting over here, you know. Whoever caused the injury should be the one responsible. After all, if you eat someone's food, you have to take the blame. Today I saw that the medical equipment in Mother Ha's hospital room were all top-tier expensive devices, consuming an untold fortune every single day, not to mention the information to find grandfather was already sorted out in just a few hours, delivered right before my eyes. Even though the information might possibly be, could it be that I've lost my mind or something? How could I possibly start generating thoughts like this crazy woman is actually pretty decent, huh? What kind of plants do you like? I raised my head to look around the room once. I like everything. How about replacing the sweet grass with traditional Chinese herbs instead? How's that? Didn't you like red spider lilies? Instead, Liu Ruyan replied, they bring bad luck. This kind of crazy person who treats human lives like grass and dirt still cares about bad luck and ominous signs. Even King Yama himself would probably have to take a detour. If he saw you, wouldn't he? Oh, turning down good stuff makes you a total fool. Wen Shen. Let's head inside the bedroom, as if possessed by a demon. I swept her up into my arms and walked, step by step, up the stairs. Liu Ruyan wrapped her arms around my neck and started acting restless, stroking all over my body. Wen Shen, will you be my man? Aside from freedom, I can give you anything. Then can you let me use a phone? And what about going to school? Well, that will depend on your performance then. Since I can't escape anyway, I might as well make the most of every benefit from her. Lin Man, bring 3 people over to keep watch on that auntie. And as for Wen Shen's matter, make sure to add more people to help look for his grandfather. Understood, Elder Miss. If there is nothing else, I will hang up now. Moonlight, pale and faint, shone through the floor-to-ceiling window casting a glow across the edge of the bed where Liu Ruyan affectionately leaned against my chest, the tips of her fingers gently tracing along the lines of my palm, revealing rare tenderness lingering deep within her eyes. The wall of sturdy, unbreakable defense inside me had ultimately quietly cracked open a gap from the moment you bid 100 million at the auction house until moment on the cruise ship when you leaned over and kissed the lips of the person who was on the floral boat. She leaned down to kiss those lips of his till those days and nights spent side by side on. Now looking back, you saved my life amidst a rain of bombs, protecting me from malicious plots, and even giving up an entire garden of datura flowers for my sake, symbolizing that gloomy darkness. A crazy elder miss who kills without blinking and only destroys, revealing the tenderness hidden deep down, exclusively for me alone. What are you thinking about? You raised your head, your lips brushing past my jawline. I closed my arms tighter, pulling you closer into my embrace. I'm thinking about grandfather and mother. Ha, too. Mentioning grandfather made Liu Ruyan's gaze grow slightly cold regarding old Master Du's situation. I've managed to dig up few clues really, grandfather. Where is he? What on earth happened to that pool of blood in the clinic a week ago? Was there a flaw in the previous test results? The blood in the clinic wasn't grandfather's. It was deliberately staged by the agents of the Ankh organization to create a fake crime scene. Their primary goal was to lure you into a trap. Their kidnapping of you was fundamentally no accident, but rather targeted at your grandfather's ancestral medical and traditional medicine secret arts manual. So that's how it is. No wonder the time I was kidnapped coincided so perfectly with when the incident at the clinic took place. No wonder second Madame and the Liu family's Yang were so dead set on driving me to my death. No wonder Liu Ruyan had always been secretly protecting me. All of these things were part of a single conspiracy targeting grandfather and targeting that traditional medicine secret manual. The Ankubu organization had long lusted after your grandfather's secret heritage methods, previously attempting to come on site multiple times to snatch it, but they were all rejected. This time, they teamed up with the Liu family's second Madame. Kidnap you first, intending to force your grandfather to compromise and then blow up Man Island to root out all future trouble. The gambling debits that Liu Neng incurred were all covertly backed by Yang Nahui from behind the scenes. She wanted to use outsiders' hands to eliminate the Liu family's elder miss, which is me, and then control you, along with your grandfather's secret heritage methods, to completely take over Liu Pharmaceuticals. I understand now. Liu Ruyan outwardly acted crazy and wanted to imprison, but in reality she was pouring all her effort into keeping me safe and sound. What about Mother Ha? She's past the critical danger zone, and I've assigned people to look after her 24/7. Once she recovers, I will take her to a safe place so she can enjoy her old age in peace. A warm current welled up in my heart as I lowered my head and kissed your forehead. Thank you, Ruyan. This was the first time I genuinely and sincerely called your name. Your eyes lit up brilliantly, just like a child who had just been given candy. You reached out and wrapped your arms around my neck. Early the next morning, Liu Ruyan began initiating her payback plan. These are the preliminary audit report files regarding the projects that violated Liu's approval regulations and have unclear funding sources for which you have been responsible over the past 3 years. Before closing time today, want to see reasonable explanations from you all along with your resignation letters. All of these things are absolute facts. Hand Yang Nahui and Liu Niang over to me to deal with personally. The debts they owe me. Wenshin and owe the innocent people on Man Island. It's time to pay back both principal and interest now. Very quickly, Yang Nahui due to maliciously colluding with foreign organizations to plan intentional murder and plot to seize family assets, was stripped of all her status and thrown into the dungeon for life with no possibility of ever being released. The gambling debts that the second miss owed were also settled by the court. Having once acted wildly and arrogantly in the Liu family, she ultimately had to face the fate of complete ruin. As for the Anku organization that colluded with them, they were completely uprooted by Liu Ruyan down to the very last blade of grass. She mobilized all major and minor forces to storm the stronghold of the Ankiyu organization, successfully rescuing grandfather Du Mengping, who had been kept under house arrest. The moment grandfather appeared before my eyes, I could no longer hold it back as I rushed forward and hugged him tightly. Wenshin, you've had to suffer so much, this time thanks to the little girl Ruyan. Otherwise, the two of us would never have had the chance to see each other again in this lifetime. I turned my head to look at Liu Ruyan standing beside me, her eyes lowering slightly. Her cheekbones flushed pink as I grabbed all 10 fingers, interlocking them tightly with hers. It was thanks to you always protecting me that I could safely stand right here. Ruyan, thank you. You're a good kid. Wenshin being able to meet you is truly his blessing. Grandfather, I will protect Wenshin for the rest of his life. Give him freedom. Give him everything. After Mother Ha recovered, Liu Ruyan fulfilled her promise, taking her to 66 Fucking Road in the North River District to visit her son's grave, and also arranging a peaceful, comfortable old age for her kind and gentle mother. Ha finally escaped the sufferings of the past and began living out peaceful days. The black datura flowers on Man Island were completely uprooted, replaced by various traditional Chinese medicinal herbs growing all over the hills and mountains. Ruyan followed. I wish, transforming this island, once engulfed in gloomy darkness, into a traditional Chinese medicine herb garden, belonging exclusively to me. She is no longer a cold-blooded, ruthless healer of the past, but has become someone who goes herb picking with me, preparing breakfast for me every single morning, and also an ordinary woman who will rest in my arms to gaze at the moonlight. Returned to the traditional Chinese medicine department of Jiangcheng University to complete my academic program and inherit my grandfather's clinic. Liu Tu. Ruyan declined the vast majority of social banquets and parties, staying by my side, day in and day out. In the next life, you could line up from here all the way across, but from now on, in your eyes, there is only my reflection left alone. Wenshen, in this lifetime, don't even think about escaping from me. I'm not running anymore. With you here, anywhere at all is home. The rest of our lives, hereafter, through all the passing years and months, we will never, ever be separated. We will never be separated forever.